What's up and welcome back. I'm John Stark from ActiveMovieGuy.com, your favorite blind film critic. And today, we're going to talk about some greedy people. Damn greedy people. The film stars Joseph Gordon-Levitt, Himesh Patel, Lily James, Uzo Aduba, Tim Blake Nelson, Joey Lauren-Adams, Tracy Lords. Tracy Lords is in here. Just kind of like a random assortment of people. I'm sure, like, I forgot people. This kind of feels like a call your friends movie. Like, hey, I'm making a movie. You want to be in it? I'm free. Cool. It's from the director of Old Henry. So I was actually optimistic going into this because Old Henry probably should have gotten Tim Blake Nelson an Oscar nomination, considering Tim Blake's long and storied career in Hollywood at this point. He's been around for a while. He's been a character actor. Probably should have jumped on board. He kind of needs, like, he's kind of taken Sam Rockwell's place as being like that reliable character actor that has performances and just doesn't have that film yet. So he needs to jump into a Sam Rockwell performance. You know, he needs like a 3 billboards to get him to the so he just needs the right role, the right film. And he was great in Old Henry, which is this director's previous work, and also the Jay and Silent Bob reboot. So, yeah. Not a great year for Joseph Gordon-Levitt. This and Killer Heat. Plus, he did have Beverly Hills Cop, which was, I did like that movie, but he's definitely not the draw in that movie. And I kind of miss the period in time where Joseph Gordon-Levitt was kind of the next big thing. You know, we had him in movie after movie and it was working. He was in, 500 Days of Summer. We had 50-50. We had Inception, Looper. You know what I'm saying? Like, he was in all these movies and they were all good. And people were like, oh yeah. And I don't know what's happening with his career currently, but his agent should be fired and he needs a new one because 2024 didn't really work for him. Greedy People doesn't work. Killer Heat didn't really work. So he had an Apple Plus show that lasted 1 season. We just have to, that was, I think, a year or 2 ago. So, like, in recent memory, it is sort of like, it feels like his career, like he's losing steam when he shouldn't be. I mean, I think at the end of The Dark Knight Rises, people were like, are we going to move forward with Joseph Gordon-Levitt? Which is a good sign when people are even entertaining the idea that we could. But now I think it's just like, I don't know if anybody cares. Greedy People is like a small town murder mystery wrapped in crime comedy, where sort of not the smartest cops in the world investigate this thing and they find money and hijinks ensues, except for it doesn't really ensue because it's not really a full-on comedy. This film could have benefited from choosing a genre, I really wanted this film to either stick with, it's trying the dark comedy route and it doesn't really fit into it. It just doesn't it's never really funny. It's never really darkly funny. It's never really darkly humorous. I laughed in the weirdest places. Like the weirdest things were funny to me. There's this scene where Joey Lauren-Adams gets pulled over for going over 4 miles to the speed limit. Like, that to me was like the funniest thing in the movie. And she just like, she just lays into the cop too. And she's like, fuck your mother, like, it's just, I was like, this is a cool scene. It has not much to do with the actual plot of the film, but getting a ticket, because, like, that's really pushing it, unless you're driving in like a school zone, which she wasn't. So, or at least nobody ever brought up she was driving in school zone. But just like that one little scene was just like, oh, here's some levity finally in the film. I think they were trying for levity, and it just didn't work. You know, like, oh my god, you shot! I told you not to shoot anybody. Like, is that funny? Because that also they say those same exact lines in non-comedies. So if you have non-comedic actors in this, Simon Rex is in this too, and it's sort of like, you know, he had a career resurgence with Red Rocket, which is now just causing him to be in supporting roles in movies. Like he went from being like, what happened to Simon Rex to, oh yeah, we can cast him again. So we'll put him in this and we'll put him in Blink Twice. And he'll just be in things now. It's just in many ways I kind of wish Simon had been at the higher end of the thing instead of Himesh, who I kind of remember best from like Station 13, the Max series, or Station 11, Station 13. I don't know. Anyway, so dramatic work, and Joseph Gordon-Levitt also, while he's done comedy, is not necessarily like, oh my god, that man is hilarious. But Simon Rex, actually, from back in his day, really kind of was only known for that. So maybe he would have gotten a little bit more of the humor and landed some of the punches more, but he's in a smaller role that doesn't really get the same amount of time. Anyway, nothing really about this film works. Uzo Aduba also feels like she doesn't know that she's in a dark comedy either. Like she's just she's playing this really straight, you know, pretty straightforward. Pretty typical Uzo Aduba stuff, you know, when she's not given a wacky character, you know, or playing somebody historical. This is just Uzo toned down. She's not really given much to do, so she just kind of seems underwhelming because she's playing normal. And you're like, can we do something, please, with her? I don't know, this whole thing just kind of felt like it was a little bit, it was a disappointment because there's a lot of talent involved here, but they have no idea how to use it. And the film just doesn't have the right beats to it. And for a director who directed two wildly different movies, Jay and Silent Bob Reboot and Old Henry are very different, completely different genres. And for those to be the two films before this one, it's almost like he tried to smash those two together. It just doesn't work. It doesn't, you can't put those two films together and come out with a movie that people will go, yes, this. So that's probably why you haven't heard of Greedy People. I watched it. I'm considering everything. I'm being a good critic, and I'm trying really hard to like find the diamonds in the rough, because there always are, like Old Henry. Old Henry was a good movie with a fantastic lead performance from Tim Blake Nelson. So, yeah, I don't know that this did anybody any favors, and Lionsgate didn't really do much with it. I don't know really what their intention is. I felt like this, I didn't really hear about this dropping at the box office, kind of like Bagman, which I also reviewed from Lionsgate. I don't know what they're doing with their movies. They're like content creating, but they don't, I think they're still in contract with Stars, so their stuff just going to Stars. I'm like, are you content creating for Stars? Anyway, whatever. This is watch it, don't watch it. You know what? I'm gonna give it the same grade I gave Killer Heat. Now, as far as the audio description, it's fine. I don't actually have a problem with the audio description here. I thought, you know, it's, for what it is, it's this dark crime comedy thing that's sort of, audio description often works to support a film, but when the film doesn't know what it is, it becomes really hard to support it. So I can't really talk about like the narrator tone, because it's like, it's not funny enough to support a narrator who's leaning in on comedy, because that would have been too much. It's not suspenseful enough to support a narrator who would lean in on thriller, because, you know, who'd be like, in the dark and stormy night, we found him. You know, because it's not that either. It's nothing. If I was at Blockbuster and I was trying to place this film on the shelf, I'd be like, I don't know what to do. I don't know what genre to put this in. I've seen it and I don't know where it goes. Um, it's just I don't know. It's such a weird film. Anyway, if you've seen it, let me know what genre you think the movie is. Like strongly, if it defines you strongly, or if you feel like it's trying to be an amalgamation of like 5 genres and none of them quite work out well enough to support the film. It's not bad acting, it's just it's such an underwhelming project that nobody can really lift it. You know, with all of these tremendous actors in the film, like there's some truly great talent in here. A lot of people who I hope one day will hear their name called to the Oscar stage, even if we have to wait for them to be like 70 to do it. You know, I'd love for Joseph Gordon-Levitt to get some sort of nomination by the end of his career. But when you think about actors like that, Nuzo Aduba and obviously Tim Blake Nelson, who I've already said strongly deserves a nomination for something. Even with that, it's just like, it just feels like a blip. This feels like a film that people are going to be scrolling through and be like, what is this? On everybody's resumes. I'm sure Tracy Lords was stoked to be in this. When I saw her in the cast, I was like, what? Tracy Lords? Anyway, but, so I'm giving Greedy People a C. It's the same grade I gave Killer Heat. It doesn't really work as a film, but it's also not like offensively awful. It just needs to find a genre. It needs to have chosen a genre and stuck with it. And the director just didn't know how to do that, or wasn't interested in doing that, or really truly thought he was walking the line. You were not walking the line, sir. This, you know. Anyway, so if you want to watch this movie and find out where the money goes, follow the money trail. I don't know. I guess you could check it out, but I think there are worse ways you could spend your time, but there are also better ways you could spend your time. This will be the movie that you forget that you saw a year or two from now. You know, you'll be like, did I see Greedy People? There's something really memorable about it. So, anyway, but there's a lot of actors in it. So if you like the actors, which is why I showed up for it, because I looked at the cast and I was like, damn, I know this didn't like have a big theatrical, but it's a fucking cast. Oh, it's from the director of Old Henry. I gotta give this thing a... Oh, never mind. So thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. And I'll see you guys on the other side.